Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Haley and I post a video every Friday except last Friday, which I am really sorry I did not post a video. It was just a really tough week and I was recovering from getting a central line placed, and that was really painful, and it was like I couldn't even lift up my left arm. So I just decided to give myself a break and not worry about making a video just because I just needed to take care of myself more than I needed to make a video. But I am back this week and I really missed making a video. Like, I didn't realize how much I would miss it. But yeah, so this video is going to be basically an update of what exactly happened almost 2 weeks ago. This will be like 2 weeks ago on Friday that this kind of all started. Basically 2 weeks ago, I was having my dressing changed on my PICC line and the nurse noticed that the line got pulled out a little bit. It's very normal and it's not unusual for a PICC line to pull out a little bit once you have it placed. Obviously, if it gets pulled past a certain point, then that's to be concerned, and that's what happened. Now, on the outside of my skin, the blue line, if you didn't know, whichever color the line is, the thin line that goes inside your skin, for me it was blue. There's typically dots on that line, and that's how they can tell how much of the line is out, and that's how they tell if the line has come out at all. So the line was 6.5 centimeters on the outside of my skin, not very much, typical amount. But then the nurse noticed that it got pulled out 9 centimeters. Now the nurse said that, just to be aware of it, and if anything happened, like it wasn't flushing good or anything like that, then to obviously call them or go to the ER. But he didn't seem too concerned. Both of my parents just wanted to double check and make sure that it was all good, because if it gets pulled out too much, then it comes out of the place where it's supposed to be, and then it's not in the optimal position, and depending on how much it's pulled out, it can cause complications. So my mom called the PICC line team at the hospital where I got the PICC line placed, and they said to come in as soon as possible to either get a new line or to get a port, because we were discussing a port if we still haven't had success with getting the PICC out and before June. So we were going to wait until June to think about putting a central line in, like a port or a broviac, but this obviously, it was just more convenient, and we just really don't have any idea of when I'll have the line taken out. So we went there, and this definitely had to be a God thing, because we got there and there was only one person in the waiting room. And this is a children's hospital. It's a very big hospital. There's always multiple people there in the waiting room. I have never once been there where there's only one person. And so we were taken right back in, and it was such a blessing. But the funny thing is, basically, to keep the story shorter, the ER doctor, he didn't really tell us anything. He didn't like that both of my doctors did not work at this children's hospital. So maybe there's more paperwork they have to do, or it's more complicated process to talk to them, but he just wasn't very happy. So he literally came in the first time to see what was wrong and up, and then the last time he came in, he was like, "You're being admitted." And between that span of time, people came in to x-ray to check the placement. Nobody told us. They came to take my blood. Nobody told us. The admissions person came in and said, okay, she gave my dad a wristband. She's like, okay, you guys are going to be admitted soon. And then finally my dad asked, or I guess the nurse did tell my dad that they were drawing blood. Just a normal test, because he asked, he's like, look, the doctor hasn't been back in. So that was kind of annoying. And at one point, the doctor looked at my dad, like they had eye contact, and then he literally walked to the opposite direction. I don't know, it was weird. Probably didn't like that I was complicated, and he probably didn't like that he either didn't know very much about what I had, or that it was just too complicated. So we got up there, and by the time we got upstairs and admitted, it was about 7 p.m. so it was too late to go on the OR schedule because you have to go 8 hours without eating. Got up there, and unfortunately where you order food, that was closed. That closed at typically like 6:30 or something, so it was too late. So my dad had to go to CVS pharmacy and got like rice checks and a plastic bowl and milk because that was the only thing, and I was hungry by then. So during the hospital stay, I was nauseous, but that was because of the dysmotility. If you haven't watched my last video, I kind of explain it, but basically my gut's slowing down and it causes a whole number of things with your stomach. And I was nauseous because I did not have my afternoon meds. So whenever I don't have my afternoon meds, which is obviously several different ones, I can get swollen, and the medicine I'm on for the dysmotility, I didn't have that. So I was really, really nauseated, but I got ibuprofen and that worked like a charm. And apparently there was a miscommunication. They gave us the wrong time. They said I couldn't eat past 6 a.m. and so I didn't, so they woke me up at like 5:30 a.m. so like I could eat before I couldn't eat. And then they tried taking us back around 10:30 a.m. Now, apparently, let's see, 7, 8, 9, 10. That was only like 4.5 hours or so. Not 8. So there was a miscommunication. They gave us the wrong time that I couldn't eat after, and I was like crashing. Like, we literally got rolled out of our room, and we were like about to get in the elevator, and then the anesthesiologist said no because it hadn't been 8 hours. So we went back to the room, and me and my mom were both frustrated, and like he's like, well, now you have to wait until 2 p.m. I'm like, I couldn't because I was already crashing. I was having a really bad anxiety attack, plus I was starving and I was shutting down, and I knew that, and I'm like, why can't we just do it tomorrow morning? Well, how I will sleep through most of the night not eating like I normally do. So eventually that ended up happening, and I was able to eat. I was starving. Then of course, because I was so hungry, I ate more than I had in like 2 weeks of the dysmotility, and I was like really nauseous, and my stomach was upset the rest of the day because I wasn't used to having that much food again. Anyways, sorry if you hear my brothers in the background. They're crazy right now, and I'm just not even bothering with them. There was the right time, and me and my mom made sure 1,000 times over that it was the right time. No food past 10 p.m. I could have water and take my meds, obviously, but nothing else. And they, at midnight, and it was called PPN, not TPN, but PPN. I don't know what it stands for, but basically my genetic doctor told them just to give me this, and what it had in it was not only the regular D10 fluids I currently get, but also amino acids, electrolytes, protein, and basically stuff so my body wouldn't crash down, because even under anesthesia, even in an operating room, my body can still start crashing. You never know with Mito. So finally, he wake me up at like 5:30 a.m. The surgery was supposed to be at 6. And so I got my hospital gown on, and I brushed my teeth because I'm like, nobody wants to smell my morning breath. I don't want to smell my morning breath, neither does the surgeon, so I'm brushing my teeth. But yeah, so they wheeled me down. My dad walked along with the bed until we got to the door, and I was really, really scared, and I was having a lot of really, really bad anxiety. And so they transferred me onto the narrow surgical table, which I swear one wrong move and I would have fallen, taken everybody with me. It was like so narrow and so uncomfortable. And so then they put the breathing mask over me. They did not put a tube, but a breathing mask just to keep my airways open as a precaution. They do that with everybody, I believe. And then I had a blanket on, and they tucked the ends of the blanket under my legs, and they did the same thing with my arms. Everybody was preparing. It was a sterile room and everything. And the anesthesiologist, like, I saw him like push the syringe into the line. That was the last thing I remember. And then I woke up. Then for whatever reason, I felt like I had woken up before. So I like asked the nurse, which by this time the shifts had changed, so it was a new nurse. I was like, did I wake up before? And she's like, yeah, you asked if it was normal if your head feels heavy. And I'm like, I don't remember saying that. And she's like, yeah, that was normal though. So I woke up and my dad still wasn't with me, and Dad was in the waiting room for over an hour after the surgeon came to tell him it went good, I guess. So he was probably like, what? And since I have Mito, it did take me longer to wake up, I think, than typically, but I finally woke up and he came, and that eased my worries. And so, yeah, and so like drowsy from the anesthesia. And then once we got down to my room, because they did not connect me to the central line in my room, or sorry, in the operating room, only because that's a sterile room. So they did that in the hospital room, disconnected me from my pick and connected me to this central line. And we actually got a broviac place. We were thinking of a port, which if you don't know, a port is what you put in the chest. It's under your skin and you access it with a needle. That works great for like chemotherapy and stuff like that. However, for a continuous cycle, it's not that great. It's not very convenient because it can pull out a lot easier, and it's harder to access each time. So we decided to get a broviac place, which it looks basically the same on the outside like a PICC line does, except instead of this clear line, oh, you probably can't see, but it's a thicker white line. Let's see, probably like the size of a pencil, like the thickness of a regular pencil is how thick the line is. And we actually got a double lumen. If we are going to have other treatments that we may go at NAC or possibly other types of fluids, so that's why we got a double lumen. I feel much more comfortable with this. I feel like it's less likely to pull out so much. In case you're wondering, since it is surgery, it hurts so dang bad. It's horrible. Like once I got down to my room, I was like, oh my gosh, give me morphine now or I'm going to scream. And I have a really high pain tolerance, and I'm like, give me morphine. And so they did. Luckily, I only had to have that once, but that like knocked me out. I fell asleep like for an hour and a half. I was like so exhausted, but it's not in a very convenient place when you're a girl. So that's kind of annoying. And the nurse just came to change my dressing, and she like moved it over so like it rested on my stomach, and because it's like normally up here, but it's driving me up the wall. But I still can't lift my left arm too much, and I can't use it very much either, or else it starts hurting. I have been taking ibuprofen because that's basically the only thing I can take, because every other painkiller in the world is mitotoxic, and we do not want to go on an opiate because that can be very bad for mito patients. So yeah, but we actually had somebody donate an adjustable bed for me. So it's like a hospital bed, so like it goes up and down, and it's so much more easier to get in and out of, and it's so much more comfier than my mattress, and I did not think that was possible. And it's like a full size. It was like somebody was donating it, and it was like a day, like literally the day after my parents started talking about getting me one. And it was like a full size, what we wanted. It was exactly what they were looking at. It was awesome and definitely a God thing. And I've been loving it. It's amazing because before I had bunk beds, but now my room seems so much bigger. So that's my update. Thank you for watching this video. Please like this and share it, because the more you like and the more you share, the more popular it will become, and the more people will see, hey, I'm not the only person with Mido. Or maybe they'll learn about Mido and then they'll realize, oh my gosh, I might have it, or somebody I know might have it. And that's really the goal of my YouTube channel, is just to have fun for myself, but also share my story so I can help and inspire others. So yeah, so like and subscribe. And please, if you have any video suggestions, anything you want to see, like for example, my experiences with some of my conditions like complex regional pain syndrome or cyclic vomiting syndrome, or if you want to see a tag, or if you want to see a fun video, or anything. If you have any video suggestions, leave them in the comments below. Definitely do that. So yeah, so I will see you next Friday.